Welcome to A Healthy Dose. Last week, we started a conversation about healthy intimacy, from common advice that may be negatively impacting our relationships to building emotional connection and how to speak up and have the tough conversations. In this episode, I'm excited to have Sheila Wray Gregoire, relationship researcher and award-winning author of the Good Girl's Guide to Great Sex, to help us explore how our beliefs about sex, especially around control, responsibility, self-image, and shame, can impact long-term satisfaction and emotional well-being. Sheila, thanks so much for joining us again.
Thank you. It's great to be back.
Many women were raised to believe they had to be the sexual gatekeepers. How would you define the term, and how does that early messaging shape a woman's experience of sex in marriage?
Yeah, so being a gatekeeper means that you are the one who has to make sure that you don't go further than you want to. So girls are taught that boys have this point of no return. And so if you don't, if you want to stop, it's safest to not even start. And so if you are going to start, you need to make sure that things don't get out of hand. And so basically it's just a rape myth.
Mm.
The girls are taught to believe, because then when you are a victim of date rape, you don't realize that it wasn't your fault, because you think, well, it was my fault because I began and I didn't keep a handle on it. But if you have this mentality, picture yourself making out with your boyfriend and he's having a great time. He's just thinking this is wonderful. But what's going on in her head is it getting too excited yet? Do I have to stop it yet? Do I have to stop it yet? What about now? And so she's not really inhabiting her body. She's not embodied right then. She's actually left her body in a way. She's watching what's going on so that she can figure out when to stop it. And the problem is that getting into that habit of not inhabiting your body, but separating from yourself so that you can kind of judge what's going on, doesn't just evaporate. It stays with you. And so it
Mm.
can be much harder to get aroused later when you feel like I am the one who's responsible for making sure things don't get out of hand.
So, your research shows women who believed in gatekeeping often had less satisfying marriages and sex lives. Can you share what you
hmm
found? Now, I think you're starting on to get into this with what you just said.
Yeah, so women who believe in this gatekeeping message often grew up in communities which taught them that you are
Mm.
responsible for making sure that the men don't hurt you. And so if you end up with a guy who does hurt you, you tend to think that this is your fault. You don't see this as a red flag. You see that
Mm.
as, well, this is just what men are like. And so you often choose worse partners to marry. Whereas if you realize, no, hold on a second, we are both responsible for sticking to our boundaries. And if a guy doesn't stick to my boundaries, that's a red flag that he's not a safe guy. Instead of
Mm.
teaching girls that, we teach them, oh no, you're responsible for making sure it doesn't go too far. And yeah, it means that we don't marry people, as we often choose bad partners, but it also means that once we are married, we just have a much harder time with arousal and with sex and orgasm.
You have a powerful line that says, her body has to start asking for it. What does that mean
Mhm.
in terms of true arousal and readiness?
Yeah, because often that's one thing that we may not have figured out as young women is, what does it feel like when my body actually wants something? Because instead, what's happened is people have used your body for what they want from it,
Mm.
and you kind of get on this track that you can't get off of. And no one's ever asked you, do you really want to be here? And,
Mm.
and often we've never asked ourselves that question. And so sexual activity isn't something that our bodies embrace and that we embrace full heartedly for ourselves. Instead, it's something that we do because he needs it or because we're supposed to. And then we just aren't sure what our bodies are even feeling like. And so
Mm.
we need to back the truck up and realize, no, wait a minute, I matter.
Right.
I matter. And sex is not just for him, sex is for me too. And so that means we need to slow down and figure out what my body wants, even if it's difficult for me to inhabit my body, for me to feel embodied. So even if I have to take a lot of deep breaths and calm down my nervous system and learn to pay attention to my body, that's what we have to do if sex is going to work. We don't just go ahead when I'm not into it.
It's so much more the head. If we don't have our head into it, and I think this is what people just keep
hmm
forgetting, and it is about relationships. It's about how we feel, how we think first and foremost. So
Yeah.
next, we're going to be talking about outside influences like porn and performance anxiety and how they impact intimacy and trust. So stay with us.